disciple of His Holiness Jayaprakash Goswami Maharaj, and has been related to this temple for many, many years. And he's also very expert in speaking about Krishna and the science of Krishna consciousness. He has a very nice media of how to speak and very good system of giving this knowledge to the devotees and the guests. So we'll be speaking, then after the lecture is over, we're going to have mini arati. We do not have a Sunday feast sponsor today. If somebody wants to sponsor Sunday feast, you can come and see me. And then after mini arati, there will be a Damodar arati, then there will be a little bit more announcement, then there will be prasad for everyone. Hare Krishna. There is a Sunday school. Kamalakshmi Mata is here. So if there is any children, 5, 3, 2, can all go to the Discovery Center. The next building, on the left hand, on the left side there is a Discovery Center. It's a very nice big lobby is there. You can, the Mataji, they will teach the students about Bhagavad Gita, music, so many nice things they teach. So you can send your children there. It's a very nice way to train the children from the very beginning of their life on how to be a Krishna conscious devotee. Hare Krishna.
Iskcon's founder and Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Only by His divine mercy am I certainly sitting here, and actually this entire audience, Srila Prabhupada's mercy, having brought this knowledge to the West. So we're very thankful. Today we're going to be looking at Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 87. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Karmayam Drapti Swaparantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yatapara Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvarutam Sadvarutam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Scha Hey Krishna Karana Sindhu Nina Bando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Kanta Dosate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sukti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayana Namaskritya Naram Jaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraja Nastra Prayashu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavaruttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. Om Tat Sat. So this chapter is entitled The Prayers of the Personified Vedas. does that mean? Personified vedas. The persons. The actual persons. People. Personified. Anyway, we will begin here with this first. We're going to read, I guess, 2 or 3 verses, and then we're going to go a little deeper into this same chapter. Sri Parikshit Uvacha Brahman Brahmani Anirdeshye Nirgune Gunavrittaya Katam Charanti Srutaya Sakshat Sad Asatha Pare. Sri Parikshit Uvacha Brahman Brahmani Anirdeshe Nirgune Gunavrittaya Katam Charanti Shrutaya Sakshat Sad Asatha Pare. Someone else would like to chant this sloka?
Sri Parikshit Uvacha Brahman Brahmani Anirdeshye Nirgune Gunavrittaye Katam Charanti Shrutaya Sakshat Sat Asata Pare.
Everybody is shy tonight. We should be diving for this opportunity. Why? We're going to find out.
Make it a little bigger, it's hard to see.
A little bigger?
Large text.
Better? So the translation by Srila Prabhupada. Sri Parikshit said, O Brahmana, how can the Vedas directly describe the supreme absolute truth who cannot be described in words? The Vedas are limited to describing the qualities of material nature, but the Supreme is devoid of these qualities, being transcendental to all material manifestations and their causes. A deep question by Parikshit Maharaj. Keep in mind, he's listened very nicely and succinctly to the first 9 cantos, and now we're almost through the 10th. A lot of information, yet this question comes. O Brahmana, how can the Vedas directly describe the supreme absolute truth who cannot be described in words? The Vedas are limited to describing the qualities of material nature, but the Supreme is devoid of these qualities, being transcendental to all material manifestations and their causes. Purport. Before beginning his commentary on this chapter, Srila Sridhar Swami prays, Bhagisha yasya vadane, Lakshmir yasya chavakshasi, Yashyase hridaye samvit, Tam Nrsingham aham bhaje. I worship Lord Nrsimha, within whose mouth reside the great masters of eloquence, upon whose chest resides the goddess of fortune, and within whose heart resides the divine potency of consciousness. Samprabhadaya vishuddhya artam shriya nirbandhayantrita shruti suti mita vyakyayam karasyami yatamati. Desiring to purify my sampradaya and being bound by duty, I will briefly comment on the prayers of the personified Vedas to the best of my realization. Srimad Bhagavatam Purvai Sarata Sanishevitam Maya Tutat Upashkrishtam Uchishtam Upachiyate. Inasmuch as Srimad Bhagavatam has already been perfectly honored by my predecessor's explanation, I can only gather together the remnants of what they have honored. So, Srila Sridhar Swami is accepted by Lord Chaitanya as one of the primary commentators on Srimad Bhagavatam. And we see how very humble and sincere. He starts out before he even says anything about Srimad Bhagavatam. So there are lessons from all the acharyas that we have to imbibe. Another acharya often quoted by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, offers his own invocation. Mama Ratna Vani Bhavam Ratnanya Parichimbata Hasantu Santo Jiremi Naswaswanta Vinoda Krit. The saintly devotees may laugh at me for becoming a jewel merchant, though I know nothing about precious jewels, but I feel no shame, for at least I may entertain them. What an acharya. I can personally relate to this sloka, this prayer, because I have no qualification to be sitting here in front of you at all. I'm not an acharya. But somehow or other I find myself here. So he starts off in a seemingly humorous way. The saintly devotees may laugh at me for becoming a jewel merchant. So in that same light, I cannot profess to know anything about Srimad Bhagavatam. How can I? I don't. Only through the mercy of the acharyas does the message begin to come through. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti again prays, Namesti Vaidusyapi Napi Bhaktir Virakti Raktir Na Tatapi Lolyat Sudurgamad Eva Bhava Niveda Stutyartha Chintamani Rasi Gridhun. Though I have no wisdom, devotion, or detachment, I am still greedy to take the philosopher's stone of the Vedas prayers from the fortress in which it is being kept. Very nice poetical expression. Again, teaching us. We might not have these qualities, but still we have to be greedy to get them. It's something very precious to get these qualities. Mam nichatya mam avivekor vayu pravartate pattahitum balachet likam yata swami sanatana sri krishnam gri bastamba krita balamba. If the wind of indiscretion, my failure to acknowledge my lowly position, threatens to knock me down, then while writing this commentary, I must hold on to the effulgent pillars of the feet of Sridhar Swami, Sanatana Goswami, and Lord Sri Krishna.
It's served inside. Pretty cold out there.
Pranamya Sri Gurum Bhuya Sri Krishnam Karunarnavam Lokanatam Jagat Chakshu Sri Shukam Tam Upashraye. Repeatedly bowing down to my divine spiritual master and to Lord Sri Krishna, the ocean of mercy, I take shelter of Sri Shukadeva Goswami, the protector of the world and its universal eye. At the end of the preceding chapter, Shukadeva Goswami told Parikshit Maharaj, quote, "Thus, O king, the personality of Godhead, who is the devotee of his own devotees, stayed for some time with his two great devotees, teaching them how perfect saints behave. Then he returned to Dwarka." In this verse, the word san margam can be understood in at least three ways. In the first, sat is taken to mean devotee of the Supreme Lord, and thus san margam means the path of bhakti yoga, devotional service. In the second, with sat meaning a seeker of transcendental knowledge, san margam means the philosophical path of knowledge, which has impersonal Brahman as its object. And in the third, with Sat referring to the transcendental sound of the Vedas, Sanmargam means the process of following Vedic injunctions. Both the second and the third of these interpretations of Sanmargam lead to the question of how the Vedas can describe the absolute truth. So we're beginning to dig a lot deeper, brought out by Shukadeva Goswami. Sanskrit is a very difficult language to master, needless to say, especially in Kali Yuga. It's no longer like a spoken language at all. There are many scholars that can read it, and many regular, ordinary people that may be able to read it. But the intricacies, that's the problem. And here we get the great mercy because Srila Prabhupada brought the intricacies to the West. He was a master of understanding the Sanskrit and then producing that in English. English is a rather dull language. No fancy characteristics about it. If you study English grammar, some things just don't even make sense. They do it. Spelling and different things that have to be articulated. It's not a high-class language. Yet Srila Prabhupada was able to bring the Sanskrit through to us. Srila Sridhar Swami elaborately analyzes this problem in terms of the traditional discipline of Sanskrit poetics. We should consider that words have three kinds of expressive capacities called shabda vrittis. These are the different ways a word refers to its meaning, distinguished as mukhya vritti, lakshana vritti, and gona vritti. The shabda vritti termed mukhya is the preliminary, literal meaning of the word. It is also known as avida, a word's denotation or dictionary meaning. Mukhya vritti is further divided into two subcategories, namely ruti and yoga. A primary meaning is called ruti when it is based on conventional usage, and yoga when it is derived from another word's meaning by regular etymological rules. So we're getting a lesson seemingly in grammar and word definition, but extremely important to understand when studying and reading the Sanskrit text. So we're going to continue here. He gives an example. The word go, which means cow, is an example of ruti, since its relation with its literal meaning is purely conventional. The denotation of the word pachaka, chef, on the other hand, is a yoga vritti, though through the word's derivation from the root pach, to cook, by addition of the agenda suffix ka, pach chaka. So that's a chef. So if you're following, then this word is taking what's called a derivative meaning because of that attachment. And it gives us some clarity. A chef. What does a chef do? He cooks. So it's understood immediately. If we're talking about chef, we know his profession. Whereas if a person has no idea of the yoga, in other words, the derivative meanings, chef is still a mystery. What is a chef? I don't know. So through understanding this type of basic thing, we come at a deeper meaning. Besides its mukhya vritti, or primary meaning, a word can also be used in a secondary, metaphorical sense. This usage is called lakshana. The rule is that a word should not be understood metaphorically if the mukhya vritti makes sense in the given context. Only after mukhya vritti fails to convey a word's meaning may lakshana vritti be justifiably presumed. The function of lakshana is technically explained in the Kavya Shastras as an extended reference, pointing to something in some way related to the object of the literal meaning. Thus the phrase Gangayam Go Sha, literally means the cowherd village in the Ganges, which wouldn't make sense. In. But that idea is observed. So, here Gangayam should rather be understood in its Lakshana to mean on the bank of the Ganges. The bank being something related to the river. Gona Vritti is a special kind of Lakshana where the meaning is extended to some idea of similarity. For example, in the statement, Simho Devata. Devata is a lion. Heroic Devadatta is metaphorically called a lion because of his lion-like qualities. Who was known as the lion guru? Who can answer this? Haribo! Srila Bhaktisiddhanta ki?
Yeah.
I know everybody in here knew the answer to that, right? In contrast, the example of the general kind of Lakshana, namely Gangayam Gosha, involves a relationship not of similarity but of location. So, when we get into actually deeply understanding something, we have to have a firm grip on words. Everybody uses the word love. Can we detach love and just have love somewhere? Can love exist in and of itself? Love. Basket of love. I'm bringing in a basket of love for you. Can we have that? What does love mean? What immediately do we think about when you say love? How many people are here married? How many people are even engaged? How many people hope to be married, hope to become engaged? So what does love mean? Love. When you say love, you don't separate it from, in the human case, a person. And immediately you mean you're talking about a person. So when someone is so bold to say, oh, yes, I love God, and you say, well, where is he? What does he look like? Where does he live? What is he doing today? I don't mean it like that. No, I just love him. How can you just love God? You can't. It's artificial. No real meaning, no value. If you say, I love God. You can see that when you see a person's activities. Just like if you say, I love my wife. She wants a blue sari this week. What do? You get the blue sari. I love my husband. What does he want? 20 pakoras by, 5 o'clock. Whatever it is. So you get it. So this love, and I'm being comical, but this love is a reciprocation between at least two people. You can love an individual or a group. But love doesn't stand alone. So God is not love, as we used to hear in the 60s, 70s. I don't know if anybody goes back that far. There is love. Peace. That's another word. Love and peace. How can you have just peace? By definition, what does that mean? Peace, but what is it? Does it stand alone? No. Can't just have a pot of peace, a bucket of peace, and give it to someone. Peace is some kind of reciprocatorial relationship between entities. We have to understand that because, as said in Bhagavad Gita, the observer, observation, and the object of observation. It's a triangle, and that relationship is always there. We can't try, like the Mayavadis, to merge it. Forget the observer, and there's just observation and object. We're going to remove the observer, remove the I. We want to take the I out of the picture. Can that be done? Can you remove the I and just have pure observation? Can't be done. It's silly when you actually think of it on those terms. But there are many great so-called philosophers, sages, even yogis, who teach us just meditate, focus on one thing until you become that thing. Focus, and the I will disappear. How is the I disappearing? Because who's maintaining the focus? I am. The focus on what? The object. So how is it going to disappear? It won't. So we're going to move ahead to the next shloka. Text number 2. Shri Shuka Uvacha Budindriyamana Pranam Jananam Ashrijat Prabhu Matratam Cha Bavartam Cha Atmane Kalpanaya Cha. Translation. Shukadeva Goswami said, the Supreme Lord manifested the material intelligence, senses, mind, and vital air of the living entities so that they could indulge their desires for sense gratification, take repeated births to engage in fruitive activities, become elevated in future lives, and ultimately attain liberation. So keep in mind, he immediately answers Parikshit Maharaj's question. How can the Vedas directly describe the absolute truth, which is beyond material description? Shukadeva Goswami just answered that question. But it's going to take a lot of deliberation to really understand what he's saying. It's not so simple. But in one sense, it is very simple. The Supreme Lord manifested the material intelligence, senses, mind, and vital air of the living entities. That means everything. The Lord manifested everything. So the Vedic knowledge, where this comes from, the Lord manifested that. The ability to speak, to act, to see, to hear, to taste, to touch. The Lord manifested all those abilities. Later on, Shukadeva Goswami is describing how all those activities initially were manifested and they couldn't act. They couldn't do anything. Those abilities. Until Lord Vishnu, Narayan, glanced over those different energies. He activated them. So that's the short answer. And why he's doing this is also explained in the verse. So the living entities can indulge their desires for sense gratification. Anybody here that doesn't have any senses that they don't want to satisfy? No one is going to raise their hands. Because all our 5 senses are always agitated. You want to hear something, see something, smell something, taste something, touch something. Those are the only 5 senses we have. They're always pushing us to do it. Our sense of movement, touch, is telling us, I got to get up out of this temple room floor, sitting on this hard floor. I got to get out of here and sit in the guest room on the nice couch because the floor is too much. Or what is this guy rambling on about? What is he talking? I don't want to hear that. Now I got things to do. Tomorrow I got to be to work at 9 o'clock. Come on, give me a break. This is mind talking to us constantly. Oh, what do we have for dinner? What did they make in the kitchen? Is it going to have pakoras? Will it be nice sabji? I'm tired of that halwa. Maybe they can get something else. Huh? I know the mind is telling us this constantly. So the Supreme Lord created all of that for us. We wanted it. We wanted to be independent. And there's another clause. We can see it in this sentence. So, because if we start to indulge our senses to gratify them, what happens? We take repeated birth and engage in fruitive activities. So it's not just this one lifetime. We're fortunate, this one lifetime, we finally, in this room, we get to see Krishna. That's very unusual in this lifetime. The other 7 million people in Atlanta right now are not looking at Krishna. Of course, all you devotees online that might be watching the temple presentation or watching some other Vaishnava presentation, it's a little different. But for the most part, most of the people are not interested, not engaged. So they're going to take repeated births and deaths. But one other thing he makes possible: become elevated in future lives and ultimately attain liberation. That's what we're working on right here. That's what we gloriously did yesterday. How many were here yesterday for Govardhan Puja? Well, very fortunate. We got to hear such nectar about the glorious activities of Giri Govardhan. I couldn't dare repeat the different pastimes that Amarendra Prabhu took us through. But that is devotional service. One might think, well, I just came to the temple and sat down. That's devotional service. Because the Shastra says part of devotion is this hearing, Shravanam, Kirtanam, hearing and chanting. About what? Vishnu. Not who's going to win the election. Not what comes on late night TV. No, Shravanam Kirtanam. That's what we have to hear and repeat about. We're going to read a little of this purport. At the dawn of creation, when the conditioned living entities lay dormant within the transcendental body of Lord Vishnu, he initiated the process of creation by sending forth the coverings of intelligence, mind, and so on, for the living entity's benefit. As stated here, Vishnu is the independent Lord, Prabhu, and the living entities are his jana, dependents. Thus we should understand that the Lord creates the cosmos entirely for the living entity's sake. Compassion is his sole motive. So, many are aware that in today's world, science has taken over as the authority. They're going to find out why this cosmos is operating, how it's operating, and what makes it tick, and what is the nature of a living being. So they're going to do this, and in the future they're going to let us know. For us, we already know. We don't have to rely on science for that kind of information. Why? Because real science, which science literally means to know, has to come from an authority. Otherwise, it's just speculation. Speculation can seem like science, and they promote it. You go to the universities, and they promote what they've speculated about, especially if 2 or 3 of them have the same speculation. It's like, oh, that's a fact. Of course, if I pick on, so to speak, one segment of science, that same thing could be brought out. I myself don't purport to be a scientist, so don't misunderstand. But there are many dedicated souls where their daily work is this. Recently, it has come about that they have practically discredited one of their own theories because they had no way to prove it. So they went on through some research through this Mr. Higgs. Maybe you've heard of the Higgs boson particle. They did a lot of research to actually understand this. In a nutshell, a particle, they have ability to look inside an atom and see what's going on in one atom. And so they think they understand life what they were able to do was to break this down further and pass it through a huge, what's called a kaleidoscope, collider. In other words, they smashed that one particle just to see what would happen. I'm describing it very simply, but a lot of endeavor went into this, because this collider is larger than this room. It's probably as large as this whole Krishna property. It's a large machine where they can look at supposedly what happens if one tiny proton is smashed. What happens to it? Where does it go? What happens? And so they understood that, or they could see that there's simultaneously another little proton that they didn't know about. They call it a virtual proton. A virtual, get that word, virtual proton. And the two of them act together. And so they think there's hope for our theories now, because we've discovered, they call it the Higgs boson particle. This boson, this tiny microscopic, well, it's not even microscopic because you can't see it under a regular microscope. So this relates to, we were just reading Friday in Chaitanya Charitamrita. The title is The Glories of Lord Nityananda. In this chapter, Srila Prabhupada also breaks down some of the materialistic scientists' understanding. And he equated it to a potter with a potter's wheel and tools, and he makes a nice earthen jar, vase. So there are certain tools, certain way the wheel rotates, and the result with a competent potter is that you can make a nice pot, vase, vessel. He went on to say that actually scientists are very concerned with the wheel, the tools, the earth itself, but they completely ignore the potter. The potter has nothing to do with it. But how do we make the vase? It takes a potter. It takes that person to do it. If we just continuously examine the material things, we won't get the answer. So if you bring that back to what we're just trying to discuss, this big, huge collider, ultimately what are we going to understand? How some little particles move around. So there's a lot of little particles in all the material bodies. Our bodies are full of little particles, little other living entities. The Bhagavatam explains what do we have? Mucus, bile, pus, air, mucus, bile, pus, air, and then of course the things that are eliminated, which we don't even mention in public, but the body eliminates the stuff we take in. So that's what a human body is composed of. So when we say me or I, who are we talking about? I like such and such. I don't like such and such. Who is the I? Who am I? Who can answer that question? Who am I? Mataji? I'm picking on you.
I'm the soul.
Somebody that knows the soul, the internal, actual energy. The soul, and that hits it on the point. The soul comes from Krishna, the Jivatma. The Jivatma is that subtle, microscopic, marginal energy of Krishna. And that marginal energy has the ability to either go to the right or to the left, to the material or remain in the spiritual. That's the Jiva, the marginal energy of the Lord. Jivera Swarupa Hoya Krishnera Nityadas, Krishnera Tatakta Shakti Veda Veda Prakash. So this marginal energy is eternal servant of Krishna. But when you forget, what happens? I should see every hand up because we all forgot. We all forgot and we wound up here. Oh, he's so cruel, this person. Please don't hate me. Please don't hate me for bringing this out. But we all forgot Krishna. We all wanted to be independent of Krishna. Right now we're thinking, well, was that so bad? Yeah, it was bad. Why? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi. Constantly. You forget Krishna, remember the first verse and purport we read. When you forget Krishna, he arranged that you take repeated births. Because in one body, we have so many desires, so many things we want to do, accomplish, and be, there's not time for it. In the Kali Yuga, you're lucky if you get 100 years to do that. Take 300 or 400 years to perfect playing the sitar. So that's at least 3 or 4 births. What if you want to be an expert artist? How many births do you go through with just that desire dragging you along? So that's the downside of coming to this material world. But Krishna made all these arrangements for us. He hasn't forgotten us. We've forgotten him. He never forgets us. He's simply waiting for us to turn, to come back. But we're always saying, well, hold on, not yet. Just give me a minute. Give me a moment. I got a couple other things. But that's what goes on. We're thinking, this time I'm going to do it. This time is going to be the best. But it never turns out to be the best. And so we have to take those repeated births. For the sake of time, we're going to have to skip through. This is amazing purport. Your homework assignment is please to read this text and purport if you want to take it home. But I want to get to text 3 and finally to text 20. So text 3, I will just read the English translation. Those who came before, even our ancient predecessors, meditated upon this same confidential knowledge of the absolute truth. Indeed, anyone who faithfully concentrates on this knowledge will become free from material attachments and attain the final goal of life. So, in the purport, we learned that the same question that Parikshit Maharaj asked was also asked a long time ago. And Shukadeva Goswami narrates how actually Narada Muni had asked the same question to Narayan. And when we hear that particular incident, it takes us back even further, because Narayan answers indirectly in the sense that the same question was asked by other devotees even further back in our so-called past. And so we get to hear Sanaka Rishi speaking about this same question that Parikshit Maharaj said. So this confidential knowledge has always been around. It's always there. But for us to get it, we have to make some endeavor. It's not something newly invented, because it comes from Krishna. It is Krishna. It belongs to Krishna. Again, the purport is quite extensive for this and the second verse, so please, when you have time, read that. I want to cover 2 more verses here. Text number 17. Only if they become your faithful followers are those who breathe actually alive. Otherwise, their breathing is like that of bellows. It is by your mercy alone that the elements, beginning with the Mahatattva, the false ego, created the egg of this universe. Among the manifestations known as Annamaya and so forth, you are the ultimate one, entering within the material coverings along with the living entity, and assuming the same forms as those he takes. Distinct from the gross and subtle material manifestations, you are the reality underlying them all. So we're getting a type of summary here. The living entities, Krishna, this knowledge, all eternally exist. When Krishna manifests the material world, these abilities and the living entities enter into, and then he activates them to perform their activities. And we think we have all freedom, but there is no freedom in that. We're simply following along in a routine that will lead us to another body. I'm going to skip to text number 20 because time is short. Swakrita pureshu amvishu abahir antara samvaranam tara purusham badanya kila samti drito mrisha kritam iti nrigatim vivitya kavayo nigama vapanam bhavata upasate nrigirim abhavam bhuvi vishvasita. Translation. The individual living entity, while inhabiting the material bodies he has created for himself by his karma, actually remains uncovered by either gross or subtle matter. This is so because, as the Vedas describe, he is part and parcel of you, the possessor of all potencies. Having determined this to be the status of the living entity, learned sages become imbued with faith and worship your lotus feet, to which all Vedic sacrifices in this world are offered, and which are the source of liberation. It's a mega verse to understand, but we can follow it because of the way it comes in English. That meaning, as we discussed earlier, how words actually draw out the real meaning, we can see here. The individual living entity, while inhabiting the material bodies he has created for himself by his karma. That's us. That's not a mystery. We're inhabiting a body that's been created by our own karma, our own activities. Actually remains uncovered by either gross or subtle matter. We're not atoms and molecules. The world didn't happen by a big bang. It happened by the glance of Narayan that this different energies were activated. But the world did not happen by some singularity at one time. A lump of matter existed in some space, and somehow or other a spark hit it. And then all the little atoms started to become people and frogs and dogs and cats and you name it. No. Actually remains uncovered by either gross or subtle matter. So once we understand we're not, what does Srila Prabhupada often repeat in many, many lectures? You're not that body. Very simple statement. You're not that body. But every morning you wake up, look in the mirror, you're thinking, I am this body. No, you're not. This is so because the Vedas, as the Vedas describe, he is part and parcel of you, the possessor of all potencies. This is Krishna. Having determined this to be the status of the living entity, learned sages become imbued with faith and worship the lotus feet. Not only just learned sages, learned devotees like yourselves. When you really hear about who Krishna is, what he's offering us, what do? You start chanting Hare Krishna. You start associating with devotees. You start taking only prasadam. Why? Because you've heard and understood the value of it. To which all Vedic sacrifices in this world are offered and which are the source of liberation. So the ultimate purpose of all Vedic sacrifice, all Vedic understanding actually goes to Krishna because he is the source. So we have to stop at this point. Keep in mind the homework assignment. Don't feel like the children, young kids or old kids or any kids, when they hear homework, it's like, oh my God, I had enough of school. Actually, devotees look forward to homework because it's so simple. It's not like you have to go build a big project. You simply have to pick up Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and read. Not only that, it says in Bhagavad Gita, in Srimad Bhagavatam, one shloka, one verse. If you read one verse, that is sufficient. Of course, all of you, all of us, we're going to read more than one verse. We're going to meditate on it. But one verse, so that's a potency we can't understand. Because right away, the material mind says, now how can that be? That's how one verse, that's all you got to do, and you're liberated. You can go back home to Godhead. Yeah, you can. Once chanting Hare Krishna, finished material world. But what happens? Why doesn't it work for most of us? 99% of us. Why does that work? Because we chant Hare Krishna, and then the next minute, next moment, we do something else, material. Right? I should just speak for me. Chant Hare Krishna, but then I go turn on the TV. I'm guilty. So what's the benefit? You have to always have Krishna in the focus. That's the benefit. Then when you chant Hare Krishna, then there's no worry. You're not worried about leaving this body. Why? Because in actuality, as we just read, there's no such thing as death for anybody. We're just covered. And covered means you're in the mode of ignorance. So there is no death. But there are activities that you have to voluntarily perform. And of course, the most succinct and sublime is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sri Sri Radha Mohan ki, Sri Sri Nitai Gaura Chandra ki, or Jagara Balaram Meri Subhadra ki, Sri Giri Govardhan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Goparaj Prabhu ki.
No question? I'm sure we're all on the same page. Was there any question?
We can take one or two questions.
One question or one doubt? Anything we read? Okay, remember that assignment.
So today we have a Sunday sponsor. We have Sheila Barai family and also Tapan Pao family. If you're here, please come and we'll do mini arati. Sheila Barai family, I just saw that. Hare Krishna. Yes. So we'll have Damodar Ashtakam and then we'll have mini arati. But everybody can offer lamp. So we can take the line left side and the men, the ladies on the left side and the right side. All the men can come and do it. Srila Goyal family, they're sponsoring the Sunday feast for Kartik month blessings. This is the month of Kartik, so they want blessings from all the devotees. So that's why they're sponsoring the Sunday feast. So Mr. Barre family, they're actually they've been coming. She's been coming to the temple for a long time, a couple of years almost now, and she's always taking part in festivals and different occasions that the temple holds festivals. She always comes and she always tries to help the temple any way she can do it. So, and also she's also sponsored time to time some sevas she's doing for the deities here. She also sponsored Rajbhog offering for, I think, oncoming week. She's sponsoring the Rajbhog for the deities. We have a system that if any family wants to sponsor Rajbhog, you can do that by giving your name and the Gotra and you offer Rajbhog to the deities in your family name. This is a wonderful system that they have in Mayapur and also they have in some other temples also in India. So we have introduced this system a couple of years, it's going on very well. So many families they like to offer bhoga to the deities. So this is the time that you can do, especially the lunch offering to the deities is offered in the devotees, different devotees' name, and also we offer the gotra in the family. We offer to the deities and we offer the bhoga to deities. So this is a nice way of doing some seva to deities in the month of Kartik. And I like to request all of you to pray for this wonderful family. They have sponsored the Sunday feast. Let's pray for them by chanting one time Hare Krishna loudly by raising your hand. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Blessings. She does not blessings. So we have another sponsor, Tapan Palan family. Are you here? Tapan Palan family? They are not here. But anyway, they told me to sponsor, they're going to sponsor the feast and they have already paid for it. So, they are also sponsoring Sunday feast for the blessings for the Kartik month of Damodar. So let us pray for this wonderful family also. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Thank you very much. We have a couple of announcements. I know yesterday we have a very long festival, big festival, Govardhan Puja. How many of you came yesterday for Govardhan Puja? Let's see some hands. Okay. So many of you didn't come. It was a very nice Govardhan Puja we had yesterday. It went up to like 8 p.m. And we worshipped Govardhan and the devotees like Kamalakshmi Mataji, Govardhan Mataji, they all got together and they were a very nice, beautiful hill, Govardhan hill. And devotee got to worship the hill and also they did a parikrama to Govardhan hill. So it was very nice. And then on the 5th of December, 5th of November, we have Prabhupada Disappearance Day. Prabhupada Disappearance Day. So the devotees will be observing Prabhupada Disappearance on the 5th of November. So the program will begin from 6 p.m. in the evening. So I request all of you to come. There will be Guru Puja, Pushpanjali, glorification of Srila Prabhupada by his disciples and grand disciples. And there will be opportunity for you to also cook something and bring for Srila Prabhupada's Disappearance Day. So request the devotees, if you are specially initiated, please cook something for Prabhupada and bring it. And you can bring it by 6 p.m. 6 or 6:30 p.m. you can bring it. And then there is a 12th November, is Ekadashi Kirtan is there from 6 to 8 p.m. So you can come also for that. So from 6 to 8 there will be Kirtan and after that there will be Ekadashi Prasad be served. So this is every Ekadashi you do this, so please come if you can. And then on the 15th of November there is a break of fast for Bhishma Panchak. So this will be held in the temple here around 6 p.m. And then there will be kirtan, there will be lectures a little bit, and then there will be a breaking of fast, you can see the moon and break the fast. If you're fasting for 5 days, that means not complete fast, but means you can drink water or you can take some fruits. And there are different days, you are recommended to take different things like milk, yogurt, sesame seed, fruits, like that. Or you can cook some rice that is not too opulent. You can just put a little ghee and that's it. And a little salt. And you can take that rice. So this is the recommended. And if you're doing that, then you can come here in the temple. Or even if you're not doing it, still you can come and you can break your fast in that day. In the evening, they're cooking a very big feast by Iskcon Prabhu, Ganesha Prabhu and many other devotees. They'll go in the kitchen, they'll cook very nice feast. So you can come and break your fast and have wonderful feast prasad. And then on 20th and 21st and 22nd of December, there will be a Kirtan, annual Kirtan Mela festival in this temple here. And there will be a 3-day program. That means Friday, it is a half-day program. That means in the evening, there will be Adivas, there will be more Kirtan and there will be Prasad by 9 p.m. Then next day, Saturday, the Kirtan begins from 10 a.m. and it will go on until 10 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. So you can just come here, attend the Kirtan, you don't have to cook nothing in the home, just do Kirtan and take Prasad 3 times. It's a very beautiful program. So this Kirtan festival is an annual festival, it's a quite big festival. We are expecting like over 1,500 to 1,000 people on those 3 days, maybe more. So we are requesting the devotees if you can help with the, especially sponsoring the prasadam for the devotees who are coming from all over the world, and plus the local people also be coming. So if you like to do some seva for this Kirtan festival, you can come and see me. That's it for today. Anything else? That's it. Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming again for the Sunday Love Feast. There will be prasadam will be served outside, and you can have the final darshan of the deities. Hare Krishna. Just one second, give me 1 second. New calendar has come. New calendar, 2025 calendar. If you are a monthly member of the temple, you can pick it up from the outside table.